Hi. What's up, Colton? How you doing?
I'm swell. How are you?
Not bad.
I'm
It looks like it's going to be the two of us tonight.
just the two of us.
We can make it if we try, just the two
Just the
of us.
two of us. You and
Yes,
I.
we're gonna be able to read this story, just the two of us. Michael's out there in the audience, and he says hello. Maybe I'll turn on the comments on screen
Hello.
for on YouTube
Is it me you're looking for?
if it works. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Welcome. Nice to see you. Somebody else is out there in chatland too, so if you want to say hello, you are welcome to do so. Today we are going to be continuing our reading of the story of David. We finished everything we wanted to cover in 1 Samuel, and thus today we begin 2 Samuel, the first chapter. Just as a reminder, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/the Hebrew Cafe. I appreciate every dollar you guys can give. It's really, really nice. If you appreciate what we do, then it would be nice if you could help me. Mondays at 5 p.m., which is right now, we do first hour. That's the Hebrew reading. Right now we're doing David's story. We've done the Judges. We've done Psalms. We've done a lot of reading. Our goal is to read as much Hebrew as possible to help you read, to help you analyze what's going on in the text, and hopefully help you grow in what you know about Hebrew. Our second hour is beginning Biblical Hebrew 101. We are using CL Show's grammar. This week we're going to be covering the Nifal as we start our coverage of the passive and reciprocal stems in Hebrew. The third hour right now is just me and Colton meeting for modern Hebrew. But if anybody is in Patreon and would like to join us, then the link is provided online on patreon.com. And it is provided, isn't it? It's on there? Or did I not put it on?
Yeah, it's on. The links are on Patreon.
I don't know if I put the third hour on or not. Because I think I was thinking in my head it's just the two of us. But if anybody's interested, please message me on Patreon and I will release that link. It's on Zoom. And basically, we're working through Hebrew from scratch. We just started. So if you've got some experience and you want to practice speaking Hebrew and reading the stories that are in that book, you can join us. On Thursdays, we do at 6:30 what I call the second and a half hour. This is basically to split up the second hour because it's too long to cover the homework. And so this gives us a chance to take an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and go through the homework. We decided last week that we would focus more on the reading and less on parsing and reverse parsing. Okay, so this is where we are in our reading. We've completed all of those chapters, and now we're on 2 Samuel chapter 1, where David begins to mourn for Jonathan. I don't know if we will get to the mourning part of the chapter today. I think we're just going to get into the introduction. We're looking at this verb today. It's kara. Kara means to tear or to rip. When someone dies, the Jewish tradition is to tear. I'm going to put us both on screen on the side, so this lets us bring it up. The Jewish tradition is to do a kera, a tearing in your clothes. So if somebody in your close family dies, you'll take your shirt and you'll rip it. And then people who see that your clothes are torn will know that you are in mourning. And so we're going to see the word kara in the adjectival form as a call passive, karua, karua, krua, kruim, kruot. We'll make that a bit bigger down there on the bottom. It's the bottom right. Karua, krua, kruim, kruot. This means torn. And it's based on the call verb karati, I tore, karata, karat, kara, kara, karanu, kratem, kraten, and karu. In the present tense, the participle korea, koraat, korim, korot. In the imperfect, ekra, tikra, tikrei, yikra, tikra, nikra, tikreu, tikrana, yikreu, and tikrana. Based on that, kra, kiri, kiru, and krana are the imperative forms. We can see that there are Vav consecutives at the bottom. Vaikra should be distinguished in your head. I don't know if you can I pull up a pointer? Okay, I guess just like that. It doesn't work, does it? I was hoping to do the pointer while the text was still big, but it doesn't. Okay, so my slide is messed up. It's not following. Okay, well, anyway, so Vaikra with ayin means he tore. He tore. Vaikra with aleph means he called or summoned. And Vaikre, excuse me, with a hey, we would see the apocopy of the hey, and it would be Vayikr, which resolves as Vayikir. This means and it happened, or and it met, like something met you, like an accident or a trauma or something like that. So these three roots we've got with ayin, with aleph, and with hey, that sometimes we see them interplaying, but Vaikra will not, should not be confused with the other two. All right? All right, so that is it, likroa, to tear or to rip. With that, let's get started in our reading. In our warm-up, I went first, so I think we'll continue that way so that we'll both have covered the verses that we practiced. Adel says, hey, everybody, so hi, back to you. We have 7 viewers if anybody wants to shout out. All right, so the first verse is, I'll notice the difference in format this week. I've separated the text that we are reading, that we're focusing on, in blue, and that will move, I'll show you, that will move along. Each time we change verses, it will highlight the text that we're focusing on. I think maybe that will help with the readers. All right, so number 1. ויהי אחרי מות שאול, ודוד שב מהכות את העמלק. וישב דוד בצקלג ימים 2. Everybody might notice that there's something weird about that, yamim shnayim. Normally the expression would be yomayim, if my pen will work on the screen. Am I locking up on you? Because on my side it's not writing anything. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, you're muted.
Slicha. It got like half of a line, but it didn't finish writing the line. There it is.
So yamim shnayim, what's the normal expression?
Yomayim.
Yeah, so yom is a day, and yomayim is 2 days. Yomayim, 2 days. Yomayim, 2 days. It's got the dual ending. So it says, and it happened, and it came to pass after the death of Saul. Okay? At this point, David doesn't know that Saul is dead, but Saul is dead after Saul died. David returned from striking the Amalekite, meaning that he went out and he was killing the Amalekite people.
Yeah.
Vayeshev David. Okay, so David sat, or he was staying. David stayed in Ziklag for 2 days. So that's where David was staying for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd to say Yomayim Shnayim, but you will see also in the text that normally would expect like Shnei Anashim, but sometimes you see Shnayim Anashim. There's you have to be flexible with Hebrew numbers, basically.
When doing that, you just said Yomayim Shnayim, by the way.
Yamim Shnayim. I can't say when my brain is processing Yom and I want 2, my brain automatically goes Yomayim.
Yeah, no, I knew what happened. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't confuse anybody.
Yeah, so not Yomayim Shnayim, which sounds even funnier, but Yamim Shnayim. Yeah. All right. Verse 2. Colton, that's for you. Yeah. Oh, look, we got lots of words out there. Hold on just a second. Archival Blog says, hello, everybody. We'll try to see if we can attend the stream next week. Fantastic. He's on our Discord and Patreon, and we do appreciate it. The blue will definitely help out. Thank you. I thought about that last week, and I said, I'm going to do it. I did get a message from Karen earlier saying that he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I don't know where the message was. I saw it as a notification, and then when I opened my phone and tried to get to it, I wasn't able to find it. I don't know if it was on Discord or on Patreon, but I couldn't find it. So I apologize for not responding.
And Brett is here too.
Yes, Beta with Brett. Do I know Beta with Brett?
I know.
Is Brett one of your Biblingo folks?
I know him through Biblingo. Yeah. But he does.
Nice.
He has his own. So his channel right there. He does like some similar things that like Alpha with Angela does. So he's done some. He has some like cartoons and stuff on there for Greek as well. So, but
I like it.
But Brett went to
We'll
Poland.
we'll start Gimel with Jason.
Yeah, but he went to Polis, and he knows some modern Hebrew too, that kind of thing, and both biblical and modern. And then, but he lives in Jerusalem.
Yeah. What's it? Mason's going to start Polis pretty soon, isn't
he? He started this week.
Oh, he started. Brilliant. All right. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to start learning modern Hebrew now too. Everybody's going to be talking Hebrew.
Hopefully.
All right, verse 2.
Yeah. ויהי ביום השלישי, והנה איש בא מן המחנה מעם שאול, ובגדיו כרועים, ואדמה על ראשו, ויהי בבואו אל דוד, ויפול ארצה, וישתחו, sorry.
Yeah. We will get to the form of Vaishtahu in the lesson next week, grammar, because we're going to be covering the Hitpael and the Hishtafel.
Yeah. All right. So it was in the. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it was in the third day.
The third day of what? What third day?
The third
Because we
day
had
after
Yamim
he
Shnayim.
dwelled. Yeah, in the third day after he was dwelling in Ziklag.
Third day after Saul died. Saul died, and then David got to this place at Ziklag, and then he was there for 2 days. And the third day after Saul's death, this guy shows up.
Gotcha. Behold, a man came from the camp from with Saul, and his garments were torn, and dirt on his head. And in his coming to David, he fell toward the ground and was bowing down.
Yeah. So this is why I pulled the word kroim. Notice that the kibutz here is long. It's in an open syllable that is unaccented. It's long. It would be interchangeable with the vav, with shuruk. Fantastic. What about the use of the vav conjunction? In the grammar book, we didn't really talk about it in our lesson because it's really a side issue. But we had uses of the vav in lesson 25, I think. Yeah, the translation of the vav, the conjunction. This is on page 284. There are 5 different uses of vav that are mentioned. He's got the copulative, the alternative, adversative, explicative, and circumstantial. Do you have the book?
I do. I didn't have it out, but I got it back here.
Well, I was wanting you to choose which one you think these vavs represent and how that might be colored in our translation. Just to go back, and it took place on the third day, and behold, a man is coming from the camp with Saul, and his clothes torn, and dirt or dirt upon his head.
In which pages? Okay. In which of these do you want me to?
Which one do you think it is? Which use of the vav?
Probably most of them, I'd say, are probably circumstantial.
Yeah, circumstantial. Which means we could translate the vav instead of and. We could translate it like with. So, and a man came from the camp from with Saul,
Hmm.
with his garments torn and dirt upon his head.
Yeah.
Like it's giving us the situation or the state that he was in when
Yeah.
he arrived. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What about the Vayhi b'vo'ol David vayipol arza vayishtach?
Mm, Vaihi. Say it again. I'm sorry.
The
Okay.
last phrase.
Uh,
Vayhi
those are just
b'vo'ol David vayipol arza vayishtach.
those are all just consecutive, aren't they?
Hmm? Well, the first is temporal, b'vo'ol.
Right.
Vayhi b'vo'ol.
Yeah.
So how would you translate it? Like dealing with the structure, the syntax.
Yeah. So I. So when he came to David,
Yes.
that's
When he
going to
came to
be,
David.
yeah. So that's going to be circumstantial,
Hmm.
and he fell to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those are probably circumstantial too. um.
No, I wasn't thinking the type of verb. I was just thinking the connection, the syntactic connection
Oh. Oh.
between the
Okay. I'm
vowel and
sorry. Yeah.
vayipol.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's
And
just,
you, and you got it
when he
exactly
came to
when
David.
he came. Yeah.
Yeah. When he came. Sure.
Yeah. When he came to David, he fell to the ground and prostrated. Okay. Brilliant. All right. And we'll talk about Vayishtachu next week. It's an important form, I think. Verse 3, Vayomer lo David. Okay, so Vayomer lo should be taken together as if the lo is an enclitic. It just hangs out with the verb. And the verb is fronted because it's about consecutive. Vayomer lo David, ei mise tavo. Ei mise tavo. Okay, ei normally means where. From here, mise, tavo, you will come. So it literally is a bit of a mess. Notice in the book of Jonah, whenever they're trying to figure out who Jonah was, the men of the ship asked him, "E mise am ata? E mise am ata?" Meaning, what people are you from? What people do you belong to? What he's asking here is, where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Okay. Um, in modern Hebrew, we would say me'efo ataba or me'ayin. Me'ayin ataba. Vayomer alav, and he said to him, ממחנה Yisrael nimlatati. Nimlatati. Lehimalet. Nimlat. This is nifal. We'll cover that in the grammar today. I don't think we're going to cover this verb, but I should put it in there. Nimlat is to escape. It's from the word mem lamed tet. Nimlat, nimlatati, I have escaped. From the camp of Israel, I have escaped, meaning that he ran away to save his own life. All right. Any questions? Anything going on so far? Beta with Brett says question. That's a lovely word. So throw out your question and we will. I don't want to sit here and just wait for it, so throw it up and we'll get to it whenever it pops up. All right, you ready to read verse 4?
Yeah. Um. ויאמר אליו דוד, מה היה הדבר? הגד נא לי. ויאמר אשר נס העם מן המלחמה, וגם הרבה נפל מן העם, וימותו, וגם שאול ויהונתן בנו מתו.
Ooh. So this is the first time David's hearing of it.
Yeah. And he said to him,
Who
and
said to
David
him?
said to him, sorry, and David said to him, what has happened? Tell me, please. and he said, um,
Why is it mehaya and not mahaya?
because the
Mehaya and the vowel.
all right, it's because of the comments under the hey, right?
You've got a guttural with kamats
Mm-hmm.
that comes after it, and the word ma is generally pointed to the same way that you would point the definite article.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
like you say arim, mountains, you say he arim. Oh, he
Mm,
harim, the he.
yeah.
He harim, he arim, the cities. It's going to do the same thing. Mehaya.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then Vayomer Shirnas, so and he said to him that the people had fled from the battle, and uh, and many fell from among the people, and they died. Or many of the a lot of the people fell and died,
Yep.
and also Saul and Jonathan, his son, died.
Yeah. So, wow. Jonathan went to battle like he did every other day of his life because he was a man of war. And he came and he spent a couple of days after a big battle. He spent a couple of days resting. And suddenly,
Hmm.
some Amalekite shows up and says, wow, there was a big disaster. We lost. People ran away, and a lot of them died. And also, Saul and Jonathan died.
Hmm.
Now, if we're thinking Kavua, torn, this would probably have torn David's heart. Jonathan was closest person to him, I think.
Did this say that
Um,
he was fighting the Amalekites as well when before coming back to Ziklag? Is that right?
yeah, that's what it says
Verse
in the
1.
first verse. Mm-hmm.
He was fighting the Amalekites, but an Amalekite shows up to give him the news.
Yeah, yeah. But not only the news, but this disagrees with what how the previous chapter ended. Let's go back to 1 Samuel 31, right? Was it 31? This is what we looked at last week. Let's see.
Yeah, but this
Yeah,
guy's
it's
just claiming
31.
that he did this, though. It's not actually saying that
Yeah,
he did it. He's just claiming that he did.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, because here it says that the servant refused to do it. Like he told them, kill me. And the servant
Yeah.
said, no, I can't, whatever. Uh, where was this? שלוף חרבך ודוקרני בה, פן יבואו הערבים האלה, הודקרוני ויתעללו בי, ולא אבל נוסך אליו כי ירא מאוד. He didn't want to, because he was very afraid. ויקח שאול את החרב, so Saul took the sword, ויפול עליה, and he fell upon it. So this says that Saul committed suicide, but we're going to see that the story's changed a bit here.
Yeah, but
Brett says, is A short for aye? Yes. You could think of it as like construct many times, construct of aye. A is the initial part both of April, which you certainly know, and also Eze, which became in Mishneh Hebrew and modern Hebrew became the word for witch. Eze. It's from Amize. Amize, we just went together and said Eze, which man? Eze ish, Eze giver. Great. This is bad news for David, and let's see how he takes it. First, he wants to clarify some things, right? So, Vayomer David el Megidlo. Megidlo it's like almost like an adjective identifying the young man. David said to the young man, the one telling him, the one making this announcement to him.
mm,
איך ידעת? איך ידעת כי מת שאול ויונתן בנו? How do you know? Maybe he didn't really die. Right? How do you know that Saul died and Jonathan his son? How do you know? So he's trying to get some more information, right? That one's pretty straightforward. Remember that verbs of perception and knowledge, even though they are in the, and also feelings like love, ahavti. Even though it's in the katal, it looks like we would say, how did you know or how did you find out? These perceptive verbs are translated most of the time with the present tense. How do you know? We would have bulletin boards that you put up or trivia, and you say, "Did you know?" Blah blah blah. In Hebrew, you say, "Hayadata." Hayadata. Did you know or do you know? Right. Verse 6.
Um, ויאמר הנער המגיד לו, נקראתי בהר הגלבוע.
Again, go back. Sorry to the beginning of this quote.
נקראתי בהר
Mhm.
הגלבוע. והנה שאול נשען על חניתו. והנה הרכב ובעלי הפרשים הדבקוהו. הדבקוהו.
Okay.
And the lad who was speaking to him said, I
Less
was in.
speaking to, more announcing to him. He's giving him this news.
Yeah, we just
You
don't
know what I mean?
say that. Yeah, we just don't say it like that in English. Yeah. Um, I certainly was in. I found myself in the mountain of Gilboa, and behold, Saul was leaned over on his spear, and behold, the chariot,
Lechev,
yeah,
yes. Uvalia
and
Parashim.
the lords of the riders, the commanders of the riders, they were all over him. They were covering him.
Yeah,
But yeah, they'd overtaken him.
yeah. They overtook him. They were there, ready to kill him. So here we find him Nish'an al Khanito. He's leaning on his spear, like holding himself up. But we saw in the previous chapter that he ran himself through with a sword. So I don't know. Maybe he's just making things up, right? You're making things up again, Arnold.
Well, it's also one of those things of like that's why I was asking about him being an Amalekite, right? So these are
Mhm.
people that David just got done fighting, and this guy could be like coming to David with this news that he has heard from somebody, right? I mean, none of
Yeah.
this is in the text, right? Just like, and he's saying, "Oh, well, I did this like in a way to like seek favor with him, thinking
Yeah.
that David will be
Well,
happy about the
because David
news."
and Saul, yeah, exactly. David and Saul are enemies,
Yeah,
most of the time.
yeah, thinking that
So
David will be happy about it.
maybe he'll give him
Yeah,
a reward.
yeah, that or like just spare him or not kill him along with the other Amalekites.
Oh no, I
Um,
don't think he would have killed him just for being a Malachite, because of what we
yeah,
see later on. Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Good. Hidbikuhu. This is lehadbik. In modern Hebrew, it can mean like you make somebody sick. If you have a virus and you madbik oto, you give it to him, you infect him. It could also be to paste, like you cut something up and you paste it, you stick it on something. Sticker is called madbika. Madbika is a sticker.
Mm.
And a disease that is easily transmittable is called the midabek. Midabek in the beer. It's an infectious disease. Machala midabek.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these words are related. In the kal, it's used in Genesis to say, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife in the kal. All right, verse 7. Vayifin achalav, and he turned after him, like he turned around. He turned to his back. He turned after him. And Vayireni, and he saw me. Okay? Vayikra Elai, and he called to me. He summoned me. He said, "Hey, come here." Va'omar, and I said, "Hineni, I'm here." Okay, so he's basically saying he's put himself in a position to do the bidding of his king.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8.
ויאמר לי מי אתה ואומר אליו עמלקי אנוכי.
Okay.
And he said to me, who are you?
Mhm. Miata.
And
Miata.
yeah, and I said to him, an Amalekite I am. I am an Amalekite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Why is
I
it
just want
Miata and Amaleki Anochi?
to, because they're both in pause.
Both in pause. What is the accent that is on Ata?
That is the Atnach,
Mm-hmm.
or
Ethnacht.
or
That's what
or
Jonathan would say.
Etnachta. Yeah, or Etnachta.
I say Etnachta. Nachta. And the final one on Anochi.
Yeah, it's the Siluk. Yeah, Siluk Sofas.
Siluk and Sof Pasuk. End
Mm-hmm.
of the verse. Some people in some tradition, the meted looking line under the nun would be called Sof Pasuk. But in other traditions, the meted looking line is called Siluk, and then the
Mm-hmm.
Sof Pasuk are the two dots.
Yeah.
You will find several verses in the Aleppo Codex that don't, like in the Psalms, the book of Psalms, that don't end with the colon, the two dots. They just have
Mm,
siluk, and we're supposed to read that as the end of the verse. So,
yeah.
so the sof pasuk, what we call sof pasuk, the two dots, nikudotaim,
Mm,
can be lacking. All right.
hmm
So he said
Um,
he's an Amalekite. What's that?
can I point something out on that?
Sure.
Just
Hmm.
um, notice that in the direct speech, because this is more helpful for the way that we use the language, right? Whatever is asked, and he says "miata," he says, "Who are you?" The answer to the question that they're wanting, I point this out with Biblinko people all the time. The answer is given first. An Amalekite am I. The pertinent information of what the person talking is wanting to know is given first. So they front the Amalekite am I because that's what they're asking. It's the information they don't have. So it's the most pertinent information to give first.
And
That's the other thing.
it could also, if like you're answering the affirmative, like he says, Hayadata, do you know? Uh, the way you answer, instead of saying yes, you say Yadati.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's also when the thing that you're answering is still the first thing to pop back.
Yeah. I just wanted to point that out since we have a good example of it here.
Yes, lovely. Lovely. Vayomer Eli. He said to me, Amod na alai. Why Amod? That syllable with the kaf is closed, therefore it's a closed, unaccented syllable, and the kamatz is read as a short kamatz. It's O. Amod na alai, stand over me. Umoteteni. Okay, umoteteni. Moteteni is lemotet. Lemotet. It's olel. Olel. Moteteni. Kill me. Stand over me and kill me. Ki achazani hashavatz. Okay, achazani. This is simply achaz oti. Hashavatz achaz oti. Shavatz in modern Hebrew means a stroke. uh, Iwa mochi. It's a brain aneurysm. Aneurysm, that's the word. Shavatz is an aneurysm or a stroke. It's where something blows up in your brain, like a vein or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can cause paralysis of the side of the body and all these things. It can lead to death. But here, Shavatz means probably trembling or terror, meaning that you feel like you're about to die. That the pangs of death have taken me. You feel that you're about to die. And this last phrase, "Ki chol od nafshi bi," this I don't really understand it as written, but BHS suggests dropping either kol or od, probably kol. Ki od nafshi bi means for my life is still in me. He says, I'm afraid of dying and my life is still in me. Like I don't want to die. That's the shavats, the fear. But I need to die. I can't do it myself. Right? My life is still in me and I need it to not be. Right?
Hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, it
Kol,
makes
kol,
sense to
od,
read it that way. Yeah.
kol od nafshi, if I just had that phrase, I would read it as long as my life is in me. Kol od normally means as long as, but in this case, that doesn't make sense. Beta with Brad says it could be all the more. Kol od. That's like, yeah, mhm. As long as, all the more. Mhm. Um, yeah, it's a negative expression, right? He doesn't want to be alive, but he is. Okay, verse 10.
Yeah. ואאמור אליו ואמותתהו כי ידעתי כי לא יחיה sorry כי לא יחיה אחרי נפלו ואקח ואקח הנזר אשר על ראשו ואצעדה אשר על
It's ada. It's
yeah,
ada.
ואצעדה אשר על זרועו ואביים אל אדוני הנה.
Mhm.
Um,
Confession.
yeah,
Confession.
yeah. And I stood over him and I killed him,
Mhm.
for I knew that he would not live after his fall.
Mhm.
And I took the ring which was on his head and the bracelet which was on his arm, and I brought them to my lord here.
Yeah, and my
Brought them
lord
here,
is
David.
David. Yeah, I brought them here to my lord. Good, 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 good. Brilliant. Anything interesting? Again, we've got the polel, amotetehu, which is not normal. We would say normally the verb is lahawog, to kill, but lemotet is also to kill. I stood. Notice the va'emod is, even though it looks future, emod, it's the past. I stood over him and killed him. And
Mm,
Yihye is the future. I knew that he would not, we wouldn't live after his fall. All right.
mhm.
Nezer and Etzada, I'm not really familiar with the look of these things. I would assume because it's on his head that it's like a kingly crown thing, diadem of
Yeah,
some kind, not a huge crown, but just something
yeah,
that sits on his head and mark him as the king.
yeah.
And
We
Etzada is
teach
also
Nezer and
yes.
yeah, we
Oh,
teach
yeah.
Nezer and Biblingo as an earring, and so that's why. And so it's just some kind of jewel that marked.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
and
also
then like,
Nizem. Isn't there Nizem?
oh, you're right. That is Nism. Okay, now I want to
Yes.
know what it is. Let's see.
Let's see. Where's my note? Is the last one here? Go away. So we've got. Oh, my computer is freezing in a cold way. Okay, I want to go to Hebrew, and we've got Nezem, which
Yeah,
is a
you're right.
ring.
It's a crown or a diadem
Hmm.
made of precious metal and bound on through apertures as a sign of being consecrated.
It's related to Lindor to make a vow. It's because they were. They took a vow as king, I guess.
Yeah.
Dedication, consecration,
Yeah.
crown, diadem, headband.
Yeah. You're right. It is Nesm though. You're right. My bad.
But there's also a ring that you put on your finger is to distinguish a finger ring is tabat,
Hmm.
in the middle, tabat.
There's a special word for signet ring too, isn't there? Or is that what that is?
Chotem, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Chotem. It's from lachtom to sign. Anyway, verse 11 says, "Vaychazek David bivgadav." See, we would say, ודוד החזיק בבגדים שלו. But ויחזק
Hmm.
דוד בבגדיו ויקראם, וגם כל האנשים אשר איתו עמו, with him. So, להחזיק, this is hifil, it means to hold or grab. Grabbing is also in the nifal, ne'ezat. It means to hold on to something. תחזיק מעמד, تخزيق معمد, hold on.
Mm.
So when it says vaychazek, you feel consecutive, where the e becomes e. David grabbed his garments. He grabbed his clothes. Vayikraim, and he tore them. He grabbed his clothes and he tore them. V'gam kol
Hmm.
ha'anashim shirito, and also all the people who were with him. Everyone who heard suddenly that Jonathan and Saul had died grabbed hold of their clothes and ripped them, because that's what you do when you hear that somebody dies
Mm.
in Judaism since ancient times. All right. I'm not saying that David practiced Judaism. That's not what I meant. What I meant is that the ancient Near Eastern custom was that if you heard that somebody died, you tore your clothes. If it's somebody close to you or someone that you cared about. Um, in Judaism, not in ancient Near Eastern religion, but in Judaism, if this happens, you also say a blessing with it, which is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Dayan ha'emet. Dayan ha'emet, it's the true judge, because the idea is that God is the one who decides and determines who will live and who will die. So if someone
Mm.
dies, and it's not something you liked, tragedy, then you accept the judgment of God and you say, "Blessed is the Lord our God, ruler of the universe, the true judge, the judge of truth."
Mm.
And then you would tear your clothes. Like it goes together.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we can imagine David saying something, saying that God has allowed this to happen and I have to accept it. But he doesn't accept it from the Amalekite. Verse 12.
Okay. ויספדו ויבכו ויצומו עד הערב על שאול ועל יהונתן בנו ועל עם אדוני ועל בית ישראל כי נפלו בחרב.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. We'll get to that. What's it mean?
They mourned or they wailed and they cried and they fasted until the evening
Mm-hmm.
because of Saul and Jonathan, his son, and the people of the Lord and the house of Israel, for they had fallen by the sword.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so there are a few things. First of all, the verb in kal, lispod. Um, I don't go to a lot of funerals, but hesped is today a eulogy. It's where you get up and you speak at someone's funeral and you say things, to make people remember them and to make them dear to them so that they cry and they hold them close. In the biblical idea of doing this motion, this action, it would be through wailing. There were women that would when somebody died, they would go and kind of like encourage the mourners
Mm.
by crying out. And that's what was going on here, that they were crying out. They were wailing. They were wailing and weeping, and they fasted until the evening.
Mm-hmm.
The Jewish way in death and mourning has a lot to do with what you eat. It's a lot of
Yeah.
food. You go for 7 days and you bring food, whereas I think the Christian tradition is to send flowers. In Judaism, you send food.
Yeah, I guess it just depends, Being where I'm from, like you send flowers to the funerals, but you always make food.
Make
Like
sure that the
everybody's
person has something to eat.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you go and
I'm always
you sit at their home for seven
yeah.
days. People come and they fill their home so that they don't feel alone and that they share memories of the deceased. It's really I can feel in this David's mourning. Like anyway, as far as grammar is concerned, be charev at the end, be charev. It's similar to me haya, right? Me
Yeah,
haya adavar be charev. What's happened with that? Because the word is cherev, right?
you're right. So it's been lengthened because of the pause, and
Mm-hmm.
then to um match it or to satisfy it, the um vowel before under the bait has um lengthened to include the lengthened to take in account. It's yes, it is lengthened to take in account the fact that there is a guttural with a comments under it by becoming a segel instead of a patach.
Mm-hmm. So let's map it up. Just because it is interesting. So the word itself is cherev, right? Cherev. Oh, come on. My keyboard thinks it. Okay. Cherev, right?
Yeah,
The normal, oh my goodness. Definite article underneath it would be ba cherev, because it's virtual double, virtually doubled. Ba cherev. You agree?
yes.
So what happens to it then? You said pause and whatever. So pause causes this to
Uh,
become ah,
mm-hmm.
and then you've got this situation where you've got a guttural, specifically chet, with kamatz that's preceded by the ah vowel. Instead of ah, it becomes eh.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definite. Becharev is the same as bacherev. Yeah, great. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
all. I know. Sorry. Okay, so we are in verse 13. It says, Vayomer David el Hana'al Hamagidlo. This is like the third time it said Hana'al Hamagidlo. By the way, in modern Hebrew, we don't use Magid in the present tense, in the participle. We would change it to Omer or Modia, Miyadea, something that's not Magid. Magid in the present isn't used um, because Magid took on a weird sense. I don't know if you're aware, Joseph Caro wrote the Shulchan Aruch, and he believed that he had some kind of spirit guide that was giving him information, and he called him his Magid. Magid. Kind of like Socrates had this idea that there was a spirit that accompanied him that he called a demon, right? Daimon. So, same thing was going on. So we stopped using the word Magid. What's that?
I just like interesting.
You do use it in the future and the past, Igid and Yagid, but you don't use it in the participle in modern Hebrew. Anyway, Vayomer David el Hana'al Hamagid lo, Ei mizeata. Okay, where are you from? Ei mizeata. Where are you from? Vayomer ben ish ger Amaleki anochi. Amaleki. This is the second time he's told him he's an Amalekite. So he said to the boy that was informing him about this, who was telling him, where are you from? And he says, uh, the son of a man, a stranger, like a foreign man, an Amalekite am I. I am the son of a foreigner, an Amalekite. Okay.
Mhm.
In Jewish tradition, Ger not only means a foreigner, someone who lives among the people, and this would probably be why David, I don't think, would have treated him badly just for being an Amalekite, because he was a Ger. He was someone who lived among the people of Israel. It's not that he was living with the Amalekites and being an enemy of Israel. He was on
I
Israel's
see.
side.
Yeah.
Eventually, the word Ger took on the meaning of proselyte or convert. So it
Mm,
might, I'm sure it didn't have that meaning at that time, but a modern reader of the text would understand it as if he had converted to Judaism and he belonged to Israel, even though he was of Amalekite heritage. Amalekite heritage. Anyway, next, I guess, verse
okay.
14.
ויאמר אליו דוד, איך לא יראת לשלוח ידך לשחט את משיח אדוני. And David said to him, how were you not afraid to send your hand to kill the Lord's anointed?
The Shechet specifically is to destroy.
Destroy, yeah,
Yeah.
to destroy the Lord's anointed.
Great. Great. The anointed of the Lord would be Saul. Why is he anointed? Because he's king, and it's an office. It's not. It's a. Why don't we say? And David said to him, How did you not fear to send forth your hand to destroy God's Messiah? So it's an office. It's a high office, and it demands
Yeah,
respect.
yeah,
All
but
right.
that can't be.
Mhm.
Sorry, I nothing. I was going to be sarcastic, but nobody would get the sarcasm. It's okay. Sorry.
You're Pentecostal. Nobody understands you anyway. No, I just teasing.
No.
So verse 15. Vayikra David it's me, okay. Vayikra David le'echad me'hane'arim. Okay, this is min, that's partitive, one of them. It could have done without it. Achad hane'arim. And even, look at the achad is in construct. It's in construct joined to this, because otherwise it would be echad. Le'echad me'hane'arim. But it's in construct state, joined
Mhm.
to this partitive men. So David called to one of the boys. For some reason, just like in antebellum South, where they had this term where they would say to enslaved people, they call them boy, and it was degrading. In the ancient Near East, slaves were often called young men, boys. And I don't know that it was a degrading term in their society, but we see it all over the place. Na'ar is a young man, but it also means a slave or a servant. So he said to one of his servants, one of the servants, and he called him, and he said, Gash Pagabo. Notice that the ayin is a consonant, so even though it's closely associated with the next, the bet, the beged kefet letter, it will never be pagavo because it's not a vowel. It sounds like a vowel to us, paga, but it's an ayin that closes the throat. Paga bo, and it can't be otherwise. So gash is lageshet, to draw close, to get close to him. Go over to him. Gash gabo. Go over and hit him, like hurt him, strike him, right? Vayakehu, and he hit him, he struck him. Vayamot. Notice the stress of the final word, not vayamot that we see outside of pause, but vayamot that we always see at the end of the verse. At the end of the verse, like in the genealogies in Genesis, where it says Methuselah lived another blah 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 years, and he had other sons and daughters, and he died. That last word is vayamot. It's not vayamot that we're used to, because it's in pause. Vayamot. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is exactly where I thought we would get to. This is where we
Yeah.
stopped when we.
And it's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Vayomer elav David, damcha al roshecha, ki ficha ana v'cha lemor, anoki motati et Mashiach Adonai. Motati. And he answered, and he said to him, sorry. And David said to him, your blood be upon your head, for your mouth has testified against you, saying, I have killed the Lord's anointed.
Yeah, it would be enough for him to say Motati et Mashiach Adonai, but once he throws that Anochi, this is I myself. Anochi Motati et Mashiach Adonai. I will.
Yeah.
That's emphatic. Where do you get that Picha Anavacha means your mouth testifies against you?
Because you told me that's what it meant. I'm just kidding.
But what the Bible would give us that sense, that a verse that should stick in your head.
It's the one you told me that I forgot already.
From the Ten Commandments. You shall not bear false witness. It actually doesn't say bear, it says you shall not answer false witness against your neighbor. And it says la'anot be'reacha. Lo ta'aneh be'reacha ed shaker or ed shav. Depending on Deuteronomy says shav and Exodus says shaker. Fantastic. So we will start next week with verse 17, where David takes up a lament. Lament is the word kina, and the verb that is drawn from kina is a polel form, vaikonen. He lamented, or he took up a lament. Any questions? I think we will cut the screen share and go just to us. So if there are any questions, we can get to them. Marcelo is with us. I haven't seen anything. Oh, there you wrote foreshadowing earlier, and I missed it. I saw foreshadowing, but I didn't see it was Marcelo. How you doing? He says that's a whole page in my Tanakh up to 16. I agree. You probably found the dead body and took the crown and told that story, trying to play hero, but got killed instead. Yes, kill the Amalekite. Yes. Good. Anyway, the Amalekite, like the term, the Amalekite, always remained a byword among the Hebrew and Jewish people, and it represents, through history, every enemy of the Jewish people. They associated it with Rome during the Roman period, because Romans were the enemies. So the Amalekite is the one that you need to fight until they're gone. Right? Anyway, Colton, you are much appreciated. This was fun.
I had this beautiful sun shining in on my face.
I have a beautiful selfie light.
Yeah.
Some color.
I have that for when the sun goes down. Yeah, well, I don't have any color is the problem. To begin with.
Here it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so we don't have any sun.
Yeah. It's only 6 o'clock here. It's only 6 o'clock here, so the sun is pouring right in. It is low enough now that I'm getting direct, almost direct.
It's not good for your eyes. So with that said, it's definitely time to start our second hour. So everybody's welcome to come and join us over there. I think this was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I hope everybody else did too. All right. We'll see you guys in a few minutes or next week. Peace. Shalom lachem.
Well,